scene opens. A man, Mark, is sitting in a sparsely furnished apartment looking out the window. He looks calm, but there's a deep sadness in his eyes. Hey everyone, have you ever felt a storm brewing inside you, but on the outside, you were the calmest person in the room? That was me. For months I'd been living in a world that felt off. It started with the little things. Late nights at the office that became more frequent. Phone calls that were always taken in another room. A sudden, intense need for privacy from my wife, Sarah, the woman I had promised my forever to. We'd been married for 7 years. 7 years of building a life, a home, a future. We were that couple, you know? The one everyone said was perfect. We finished each other's sentences, shared inside jokes that no one else got, and held hands without even thinking about it. Our love felt like a fortress, impenetrable. Or so I thought. The first real crack appeared on our anniversary. I had planned a surprise dinner at the restaurant where we had our first date. I was excited, nervous even, like a teenager. But when she came home, she barely glanced at the suit I was wearing. She said she was exhausted, that a big project had come up at work, and could we please just order a pizza? I remember the sting of disappointment, but I brushed it off. It's just work, I told myself. She's stressed. But the work projects kept piling up. The distance between us grew, becoming a silent, unwelcome guest in our home. I tried to talk to her, to bridge the gap. I'd ask, "Is everything okay, honey? You seem distant." And she'd just smile, a practiced empty smile, and say, "Everything's fine, Mark. Just tired." That smile hurt more than any argument ever could have. It was a wall, and I was on the outside. One evening, I came home early, hoping to surprise her. And I did. I found her in the living room on the phone, her back to me. She was laughing, a light, carefree laugh I hadn't heard in months. "Oh, stop it," she giggled. "I miss you too. I wish I was with you right now." My heart stopped. The world tilted on its axis. She ended the call quickly when she saw me, her face pale. "It was just my sister," she said, her voice trembling slightly. But I knew. In that moment, the fortress I thought we had built crumbled into dust around me. I could have screamed. I could have thrown things. I could have demanded answers, forced a confession, dragged all the ugly secrets into the light. A part of me, the part that was shattered and bleeding, wanted to do just that. I wanted to see her squirm, to make her feel a fraction of the pain that was tearing me apart. But as I looked at her, standing there in the ruins of our life, another feeling took over. A profound, hollow sadness. What was the point of yelling? What would an argument solve? The trust was already gone. The love I thought we had was a lie. A loud, messy confrontation would only give her the satisfaction of a reaction, a chance to play the victim or justify her actions. It would give her a story to tell. I decided in that moment that I wouldn't give her that. She had taken my future. She wouldn't take my dignity too. So I did the one thing she never expected. I said nothing. I just looked at her, and for the first time, she couldn't read my eyes. I walked past her, went upstairs, and packed a bag. Not all my things, just enough for a few days. Every item I touched was a memory. The shirt she bought me for my birthday. The book we read together. Each one was a small cut, but my face remained a mask of calm. Downstairs she was waiting, wringing her hands. "Mark, what are you doing? Talk to me," she pleaded. Her voice was laced with a panic I hadn't heard before. The silence was unnerving her. I walked to the front door, my hand on the knob. I turned and looked at her one last time. I didn't say, "I know." I didn't say, "How could you?" I didn't even say goodbye. I just gave her a small, sad smile, the kind you give a stranger, and walked out. I closed the door softly behind me, but to me, it sounded like a cannon blast, signaling the end of a war I never even knew I was fighting. I spent the next few days in a cheap motel, my phone turned off. The silence was deafening at first, filled with replays of her laughter, her lies. But then, something shifted. The quiet became a space for me to think, to process, to grieve without interruption. I realized that my silence wasn't about punishing her. It was about protecting myself. It was my way of taking back control. My anger slowly cooled, leaving behind a clear, cold certainty. When I finally returned to the house, it was to pack the rest of my life. She was there, her eyes red and swollen. The moment she saw me, the questions and accusations started pouring out. "Where have you been? Why wouldn't you answer my calls? You can't just leave like that without a word." It was ironic, wasn't it? She, who had been living a secret life, was angry at me for my silence. I just kept packing. I moved with a calm, deliberate purpose. "Mark, please," she cried, grabbing my arm. "Say something. Yell at me. Hit me. Anything is better than this silence." And that's when I knew I had made the right choice. My silence had hurt her more than any angry words ever could. It wasn't the fight she had prepared for. It was a quiet refusal to play her game. It showed her that she had no more power over my emotions. She couldn't manipulate my anger or my pain. I had simply removed myself from the equation. I finished packing my last box and walked to the door. I finally spoke. My voice was even, devoid of the love it once held for her. "I'm not going to yell, Sarah," I said, looking not at her, but through her. "What you did, it doesn't deserve the energy of my anger. It only deserves my absence." I left the house keys on the table, and as I walked away for the final time, I didn't feel broken anymore. I felt free. Sometimes, the loudest statement you can make is to say nothing at all. It's not about revenge, but about self-preservation. It's about recognizing that some things are so broken, there are no words left to fix them. You just have to walk away and let the silence speak for itself. It's a painful lesson, but it's one that allowed me to start healing and to find my own voice again, in my own time. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you're not alone and that your peace is the most important thing. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content. Take care of yourselves.